And how critical are you of Israel in relation to the deaths of the aid workers from the World Central Kitchen? You're implying carelessness or at least an excess of zeal in terms of the Israel attack on an Iranian embassy. Do you feel Israel isn't being careful enough in the way that it's prosecuting its war against Hamas?
Look, I know that historically, nearly everybody in the West and certainly in the UK and the US have reflexively been absolutely pro-Israel, and for large measure, good reason. They have been a good democracy. They've been good friends throughout the decades, and it's understandable. But when you have a situation like this, to where Israel was attacked on that heinous day in October of last year, and they had every right in the world to respond. And I was an advocate of that at the time. But it absolutely also matters how you go about doing it. And Israel lost 1,200 people, mostly civilians, in that attack. And it created outrage throughout their country, understandably. But in response, now 33,000 Palestinians, the vast majority women and children who had no role in anything and were just as innocent, have also been killed, which is sparking outrage in other parts of the world. And now increasingly, even in the United States, people are starting to turn against that because they see it's not proportional to what happened. And I can tell you from personal experience, there is a way to fight an enemy terrorist group in a built-up city and not wipe the city out and kill the thousands of people. We've done it. It's much harder. It costs more on your troops, but in the end, it has a chance of success. What Israel's doing right now has no chance of success for their future.
And what effect do you think this is having in domestic American politics? People talk about the swing states, the state of Michigan particularly, and what may be happening there. Do you think, to your point about the solid support there's historically been for Israel from the US and the UK, that because of domestic political factors and this appearance of going too far, this is becoming a factor in US politics?
Well, 100% it is. You have Michigan, Minnesota, actually several states, even some other ones recently when there really hadn't even been an actual campaign, because it's already resolved who's going to be the Democratic nominee. But it's not just among the Arab population, the Muslim population in some of these countries, some of these states where it's happening. This is across the board when you look at the demographics of who's actually voting for these protest votes, so-called, because they see just the American values. We've always valued helping the innocent, helping the powerless people who are being killed in civilians in wars, et cetera. And they see us aiding the opposite of that happening, and people are having a revulsion based on American values and American interest. And it is absolutely having an influence. And you see, I think already that President Biden is now starting to be a lot more, at least verbally, challenging of the Israeli side and of Netanyahu in particular. It remains to be seen whether he's going to take any action on that. Of course, the big leverage is, will the U.S. withhold weapons and ammunition if Israel goes into Rafah and the casualties spike? That remains to be seen, but I think that's what everybody's watching for.